We're back.
I love what you just said about the last 6 months. Can you say that again?
Absolutely. When you're willing to do the work and evolve and go within, you grow and evolve and more love, more openness. That the trauma, the triggers, they're not as prominent because when they do come up, those old thinking patterns go, oh, yeah, that's all that is. That's all that is. And as you grow, when you're willing to do the work, you'll see the growth and you will evolve.
Oh, absolutely. And you've put in the work. I mean, you are what we call an ideal client, where somebody like me gives you the tools, you take it, you run with it, you ask for support, you check in. And because I was just like you when I started this work, I think there's a programming. People could program themselves. If I don't do the work, I will feel worse. If I do the work, I'll feel free. I think that's what it is, because when we're dealing with big traumas, people don't want to go there because they think it'll be more pain. But if we reprogram the feelings in the body to the mind, which is, so I hit my same with you, Teresa. I believe the universe, God said, okay, I'm gonna hit your breaking point. You're gonna hit bottom, so you have nowhere to go. Now
Right.
you will do anything. So here's the tools. It's like needing water in the desert. I was so desperate like you that I took the tools. And then as I got relief, glimpses of hope, more release, understanding fight, flight, freeze response, changing, feeling better, OCD calming down, anxiety going away. I was like, bring it, bring it, bring it.
Yes.
That's what happens. And most people are too scared to do the work because they think it's going to dig up. It's like I just went through, like I was sharing with you, a super hard week with my dad in the hospital. And if I talk to a stranger and share, I'll start crying because the support feels so good, but it's very vulnerable and scary to cry in front of a stranger. I think that's what stops people, because I feel it in my body. Being vulnerable is hard. However, I have a new belief in programming the last 15 years. The more real I am, the more loved and supported I will be, the better I will be.
Absolutely. Because the more real you are, the more truth that you speak, the voice, when you hear yourself, when you bring up those old traumas and you realize, oh, I've got the tools to master this now, you're not as triggered when other things come up. But again, you have to be willing to do the work and accept yourself just the way you are and be able to flow with the work, because there are waves, there are ups and downs, and some folks are afraid of that.
Yes.
They're like, oh no, I'm going backwards. No, you're beautiful just where you are. You're growing. It's a growth spurt. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
I think people need to know, if you don't mind sharing, and if you don't want to, you don't have to. But wouldn't you say, because I know you well, you've been through, so people watching this may be like, well, I've only had this or I've only had that. You're a perfect example, because I feel like you've had all the traumas.
I've had quite a few.
Can
And
I?
that's one thing that some folks don't understand. They view like, oh, well, this wasn't that big of a deal, or this was huge, this is too big for me to address. No, we don't look at traumas as, this is big, this is small. Trauma is trauma.
Can I give an example with you, if it's okay?
Sure. Okay.
So can I list just generally some of the things you've been through, or would you rather keep it more private? It's totally up to you.
I'm okay with some of those things.
Okay. Well, you've had physical abuse. Are you okay with saying that?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
And from quite a young age.
From a young age. And that is something that you don't realize because you are young. So it's not until you're older, because your mindset is viewing that as a young child. And then working through that, there's a period of time of grief. And that's good. That's a good grief because you're healing through that. It's not a depression, it's a goodness to accept it and move on, and forgiveness.
Exactly. And you made me think of something else. Oh, I just lost it, but it'll come back. But let's just finish this for a moment, because you've had verbal, mental, physical abuse. Let's just keep it simple, because without
Yes,
being too personal, maybe another
right.
time we can. Teresa's had all forms of abuse. And I really mean that. I mean that. You've had manipulation, you've had neglect, you've had everything. So you should feel heroic. I know that might be hard to receive, but you really should. And the reason why I share that with the world, because people watching this need to know that they fit in this world, and you are a beautiful, regular person that you would never, when I say that, meaning no one would look at you and think, oh, she had this, she had that. So I guess what I'm saying, without saying too many details, think of all the traumas out there someone's gone through. I feel like there's very few you haven't had.
I've experienced a bit. I've experienced quite a bit. But with that being said, no, you don't know what the person standing next to you, how hard they're trying to hold it together, how hard they just want to fit in somewhere, but they're afraid to speak out because they just can't take one more rejection. You
Yes.
know, they stay in fight or flight, they stay in that self-protection mode. I did that.
Yes. That, because this is our second interview, and I want to bring up from our first one the point of doctors over medicating you, and you hit your breaking point, which is when you found me, because you were having these suicidal dark thoughts that weren't you.
They were not me at all, not me. And it was, let's try this medication. I'm like, I've never been on medication like this before, but okay, if you think that's best. Oh, it was not best. And then it was, well, let's try this other one. I've got plenty more. And I've never been suicidal. I've never had dark thoughts. I was not something, they scared me so bad. It was a trauma in itself. When you're literally fighting to live and you don't even understand what happened to your brain.
You are a perfect example of all the stored trauma. Let's say adrenaline for people that are new to this work. All the stored adrenaline from trauma after trauma that got stuck in your body because, Teresa, you didn't have the support or the safety. Then the medication comes in and it messes with it more. So
Right.
what the answer is not to numb it down and medicate, but to start to get the love, support, and safety to process and get the adrenaline out. That's really what this work is all about, if people want to know.
Absolutely, because the body does not forget. It does remember. And
Everything.
as we have gone through processes and letting things evolve and come up, and you don't force it. You never force it.
Right.
It's very natural. It evolves on its own as it's time to release it. It's nothing forced, very natural. And
Even
there are
memories.
times, yes, there
Want to
are
add memories? Like Teresa had one from infancy that came up the other day, and we worked through, and you can't try to remember something from being an infant. When your subconscious is ready, it will show you a flash, and it's so healing. Because I have people that will come to me and say, I don't know what it is. You don't need to know. We hold space for you. Your body, it's like watching a movie. It will start to reveal what it wants, and it feels amazing, because the truth, no matter how bad it is, will start to regulate you when you're supported with your truth. And most of us aren't supported with our truth. The families we grew up in, we say, hey, here's our truth. They either don't want to hear it, or it's fed back to you in an abusive way.
Right, because they don't want to acknowledge it. They want to live in denial.
Yeah.
And denial is just shoving it back down. It's not processing. It's not releasing it. And there's times, yeah, when you go from, oh no, the light's going to turn red. I've got to sit in my car. I feel like I'm trapped. I literally want to leave my car at a red light and just run. You can have it. To, hey, it's a red light that gives me time to think about more about what I want to put on my grocery list. And one of the fun things I used to do at first was, instead of that fight or flight, when I came out of that, I'd sit at the red light and go, I am so grateful for this. I am so grateful for that. And just the mindset and the growing. And when I learned that anxiety was my friend, it was letting me know that I had more to process. And again, it came up on its own. It wasn't forced. It wasn't, oh, this happened to me. No, when your body's ready, listen, and those memories come up, very natural. And when you're ready, they evolve. And if you're willing to do the work and let it evolve and have a good support system like I do with you, you grow, you heal, you evolve. And look at the difference in me in just 6 months.
I know, it's crazy. And I just want to give this tool. You said a couple good things. You have awareness. So the work starts with awareness, and people don't have to know what that means right now. That comes with being supported. But the reason why you can sit at the red light now and have this awareness and use your tools It just, you were saying such a good point of like where accidents happen. When people are driving around with trauma, you're more susceptible of crashes and incidents because you're driving from a fight, flight, freeze response, and that creates chaos. So you would get triggered at being at a red light and feeling stopped.
Feeling trapped, literally trapped, like no way out.
And
that
that's
was
part
my
of your trauma.
nervous system talking. That was my pain body talking. That wasn't me.
But I want people to know why, because many times in your life, your trauma, you were trapped. And that's
Right.
important to know, because some people will be like, well, I'm okay at a red light. Right, because your trauma may be different. For Teresa, her nervous system went through enough times in her life where she couldn't move or get out. And even as I say that, notice what happens in your body.
No, I feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
In the past, I would have already started feeling heart fluttering, feeling some tingling.
Yep.
Oh, I feel good. I feel
Totally.
good. I can say that and with a smile, you know?
Yeah, you said something else really good that I wanted to circle back to. Before the sitting at the traffic light, what else did you say right around there that was so good? Well, it was having the awareness, and it'll come back to me. That's okay.
Just having the awareness, the sensations when they come up in you, the old thinking patterns. Just go.
That's it. When you said it brilliantly, and so many people, and they're amazing. It's great. If it works for you, do it. Are working with the mind and beliefs. The way you said something, I wanted to remind people, when you work with the body and regulate the body, the mind becomes clear. People are trying to clear their mind. They're trying to sleep. My community could not do that until we go through the body.
No, the body clears the mind. The mind does not clear the body.
Amen. The body clears the mind does not clear the body. For people, some people, maybe, we won't say no to that. Some people can clear their mind and clear their body. I don't know how to do that. I go into my body. And if people are like, wait, hold on, wait, what? And again, this is stuff you learn by doing this work. So you don't have to know it all right now. But if you go in the body and you know what a sensation is, and you know how to listen, you know how to close your eyes, get support, like Teresa keeps saying, do the work. You work with the bodies and the old adrenaline stuck in there, which there's tons of tools. I can teach you how. Yes. The mind becomes clear. I want to say it's magic.
It's wonderful. Again, I can't stress it enough. The body clears the mind. The body other way around. When you're opening up your heart and you're releasing adrenaline, and when an old memory comes up and you're using tools of pressing your hands, which you've taught us, or standing next to a wall and pressing into that wall and walking your feet, processing, letting that old adrenaline out of your body, you feel lighter, literally lighter, and just feel so much better.
I was meditating on this morning. With this work, wouldn't you say, and this will tie all together. Give me one more minute. You stop caring what people think. Yeah?
Absolutely. You gain a voice. Yeah, they don't matter.
Then when you get triggered, like I did recently, and somebody didn't want to hear what I had to say, that was really hard for me. I went into my body and I said, okay, why does this feel hard? Do I care what this person thinks? No. Do I know it's about them? Yes. So what's bothering me? So you'll get so good at, let's say, being really bothered is a 10. Wouldn't you say, mine are like 1 and 2 now. They're so small, but back at the height of my trauma, they were a 10. I was losing my mind. When you say you're like,
oh, absolutely. Because that has gone, because one thing I learned is you can only meet people to where you are.
Yes. So
so when you're regulated, they don't matter because you're at peace with yourself.
Well, here's the thing. When I was meditating and listening to my body, something was still bothering me. So even a 1 or 2 doesn't feel good. You don't want that.
No, you don't, but that's okay, because it's a gift. That 1 or 2 opens you up to like, oh, I can process this out.
Yes. And so the process was, what I want to give people today was, I don't care what this person thinks. So if somebody won't listen to you and accept your truth, what is it? And I found that old part of me that wasn't heard. So I just had to remind her, I hear you. Your truth is out there. And if you want, you can find any way you want. So this is how my nervous system works. Tell me if you like this.
Yes.
I can fight for the rest of my life for my truth and freedom if that is what I need. That regulates me. That's my trauma pattern. So if somebody doesn't want to hear my truth and it makes me feel bad and I don't care what they think, what I found this morning is, and I told myself this, doesn't mean I have to do it, is I can find another way to get my truth out there if I need to. And then I completely regulated. I was looking for that. I've been doing this work 15 years. You've been doing it for 6 months. That's the gift I want to give people today. You find the golden nugget that even if you're new to this work or older, like me, I had to tell myself, you are free to always speak your truth. You can find another way if that is what you still want, little Karlee. And
Absolutely.
then I
The
felt great.
freedom, yes, and the liberty when that little you inside you, as it heals and as you heal, and you're like, it's okay. You've got liberty, you've got freedom, you are loved, you have a voice. You will be heard, you are valued, you are wanted.
And they can start right here with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And baby steps in the right direction is a step.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's what I was going to say, because people may watch this and go, what do I do next? So in the caption, I'll leave some links so people know where to go if they want more support from you or me. Hey, they can get on a call and talk to both of us. We've done that.
Absolutely. Yes, we have. That is, yes, I'd be glad to do that. I truly do understand.
So,
In that moment when I started, the first phone call to you was, I think I've lost my mind.
yes.
I don't know where I'm at. Everything's so dark. Everything is just like you literally could have peeled me up off of a floor. I didn't know. I just couldn't regulate. I just was not in a good place at all. And
I remember that.
6 months out, I do truly understand. I'm going from fighting to live, everything looks like danger, to I'm at peace.
I have chills down my back.
Goals, and yes, things are still going to come up naturally. That's just natural. But I call them growth spurts. We're evolving, we're growing. And like I said, I feel so much lighter.
You said you needed tools, and I have chills. As you were talking, I was transported back to our first call. I'll never forget it because I remember fighting for you because you were so vulnerable and real and saying how bad your thoughts were. And I was like, no, you're totally normal. This is how it happens. And you were like, what? And that was it. We were off and running to the races. And you were like, save me, show me.
Yes, I was. I'm like, this can't be normal. There's not other people like me. And you were like, yes, it's normal. You're okay. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yep. And we started. You were
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you so much, Karlee. Thank you.
Thank you for being real with people. And I know it's hard for people to look at our smiles and our energy and realize we were once hitting our bottom, crying on the floor, darkest of the days. And
not sleeping, not eating, not anything, dark days. And not everybody goes to that point, and that's good. Yeah. Everybody's, be who you are. Just be who you are.
And let's just be honest, we took too much shit in our lives. Let's just own it. We took way too much shit.
Absolutely. Yes.
We didn't know any better. We had to clear it. We don't take shit no more. That's it.
We don't. It's all good.
Oh, this was so fun today. Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you. And again, if others want to reach out to us, we'll be glad to talk to them.
Yeah, I'll put the link in below.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.